Okay, please talk. Yes. Ashko. Ah, I'm live. Oh. I'm trying to share the screen.
You sharing?
No, so that I can see what I'm doing in the background.
Oh,
Are you seeing it? No, it's not my class. Is it? Is my screen showing?
Yes.
My screen is showing. What is showing on the body is showing there. Okay. So good morning everyone and welcome to today's class. How was our last class? Hope we are able to carry out the assignment I gave and hope there was no hitch or any obstacle on the road. Those that had obstacles reached out to me and I was able to assist them. So for those that did not reach out, I believed everything went smoothly for you. Thank you very much. Elijah, you are welcome to today's class. Faith TV, you are also welcome. So just a brief recap of our last class. In our last class, we started a journey called web development. Started a journey called web development, where we said web development is what? Is the process of designing web application or website to carry out a specific function. We all did that. Then we went ahead to download our software, which is Visual Studio. Then we talked about what we talked about was HTML. Then we said we go to Bootstrap. Last week, in our last class, we started HTML. So we discussed HTML, what is HTML, how it works, and the various HTML tags. Although those are not all the HTML tags we have, there are many more. But for the purpose of for now, we are going to be making use of that. And for those of you that want to join us for advanced class, then you get to learn more and more about HTML tags. There are lots more HTML tags than the one we did, but these are the basic ones that we need for now. We don't need those advanced ones for now, but for the purpose of this class, we need where we talked about the header, which is H1 to H6. Where we said H1 is the largest and H6 is the smallest. We talked about paragraph, we talked about the image tag, we talked about hyperlink, which is the anchor tag, right? Then we did a bit of, we talked about a list, which is ordered and unordered list. So I gave an assignment which encompasses all these things we did, right? I gave an assignment which encompasses all these things we did. I believe everyone did the assignment. So for today's class, we are going to delve into what we call CSS. As you notice in our last class, when I was explaining web development, I said, Elijah, if you are there, please kindly indicate. Faith TV, hope you are hearing me. So in our last class, when I was explaining web development, I said it's a gradual process. Just for when I gave an example of making a car, right? I said the first thing you do is to get the body work, which is the metal part, the frames and all those things. So the HTML we did last week is like the body work. We've known how to do the body work, how to add this, how to put this, how to put that, right? So we now said the next part is adding seats and painting the car, right? So now we've known how to develop a website. We've known how to create HTML file. So we now need to, because it was too, that day if you notice, it was just plain black and white, right? It was just plain black and white and all those things. There was no color, there was nothing to read, right? So for the CSS now, CSS is what is going to allow us to add colors to it and make it beautiful, like all those fine website you used to visit. Then if you see it, you'll be like, wow, this website is, even if what they are doing does not interest you, you'll be you'll be carried away by the color of the design of the website. So they did most of the colors and all those things was done with CSS. So today's class we are going to be delving into what we call CSS. Good morning, yeah, great. Hope you're good. So introduction to CSS. What is CSS? I hope none of you is thinking CSS means community secondary school, because that's not what it means. So in web development, CSS simply stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It simply stands for Cascading Style Sheet. And it is used to style elements written in a markup language. All those things we did, all those, I told you what, you know what a markup language is, right? HTML is an example of markup language. I told you the meaning of HTML the other day, right? What's the meaning? Hypertext markup language. So most times markup languages don't stand on their own. They need other languages to be able to function properly. You understand? So the CSS now is used to style the HTML, right? So it's used to, you can use it to edit, make the can use it to edit and make the HTML file look more beautiful. It separates the content from the visual representation of the site. That's the content are all those headers, the paragraph, and all those things. So the CSS now add colors to it. If you remove CSS, it becomes plain. You understand? Are you listening? If you remove CSS, it becomes plain. So it usually separates the content from the visual elements. Exactly. So there are three major types of CSS. There are three major types of CSS. That is ways in which you can apply CSS to a website. Ways in which you can apply CSS to a website. Those of you online, hope you are seeing my screen. Please, if you are seeing my screen, kindly indicate. There are three major ways you can apply CSS to a website. The first one is what we call inline CSS. The first one is called inline CSS. Elijah, great. Faith TV, if you are there, please kindly indicate that you are seeing my screen so that you can go ahead, so that I will not leave anybody behind. The first one is what we call inline CSS. So inline CSS now is used to style a specific element. It is used to style a specific element. Let's say you just want to style only the H1. So use inline CSS. Maybe you want to change the color of H1. You use inline CSS. Or you want to change you want to make it bold, or you want to italicize it, or you want to centralize it and stuff. You use what we call the inline CSS. So it adds style to the tag, to the element, without, you don't have to call it, you don't have to use a specific thing to call it. You just add it, so the web browser is reading it. It will know that, okay, this place, so this H1, they want me it has to be red in color. So you just add it to only the H1 inside the tag. That's why it's called inline, because it's going inside the tag. It's going inside the H1 tag. So it's not affecting every other thing that is there. You understand? It's not affecting it. So it most times it's really not recommended because if you might want to add different types of style to you might want to add different types of style to a particular element, then it will make it bogus and you can have an error. You understand? But if it's just maybe one correction you want to do, maybe you just want to do just basic, okay, centralize the text, you can just use the inline and leave it like that. You understand? But if you know you are doing more, if you know you're going to be adding more styles, don't use inline. It's not recommended. It's not a good practice. Although you can do it, but except you have gone far in CSS so that you will not be confused because it can easily confuse you. Are we listening? Are we together? So we have an example of the how the inline CSS works. For example, now in the H1 tag, right? You can see the H1 there, right? You see the H1. After the opening tag, they put something called what? Style. Style, right? So inside the style, now you now have something called color blue. So anything you write inside the H1 tag now is going to get a color of blue. That's how the inline work. If you see up now, you see the body element. See the body element. So the style there is what? You see, there's a tag called style, right? You must put that style if you're using the inline. You must put the style. So you now see background color of aqua. So what it does is, the body is what contains all your HTML tag. So the whole page now is going to carry this background color. So it's changing the background color of the whole page. The page is going. Normally we are having just white background color, right? But in this one now, if you put the inline this thing, sorry, if you put the inline style and you put background color there, you see that it change the whole page. It will change the whole page to the color. You understand? So let's go to our those online. Are we together? Let's go to our VS Code and see how this thing works. Mm. So let's create a folder now. Let's create a folder and name it CSS 1.0. Those of us online, please kindly create a folder and name it CSS 1.0. Create a folder and name it CSS 1. Let me know, please. Yes. So those of you online, please, if you've done that, kindly let me know so that we'll continue. CSS 1.0. So inside the CSS 1.0 now, we are going to create a file. We're going to create a file and call it index.html. Inside the CSS 1.0 now, we're going to create a file and name it index.html. Have you done that? Elijah, great. Have you created the folder named CSS 1.0? If you've done that, create a file inside it and name it index.html. Please, if you've done that, kindly let me know so that we can go ahead. If you are lost, please indicate where you are lost so that we can pick you up from there. Thank you. Then let's go back now. Let's initiate our this thing. Shift 1. Enter. Shift 1. Enter. You've done that. Okay. Kindly change the title. Sorry, were you in our first class? You drag us back home. We've gone very far. Okay, the online listing. Okay. This one too will be online too. Okay. Let's- So kindly change the title to inline CSS. Inline CSS. Kindly change the title to inline CSS. That is Elijah, that's good. Since you've created the folder and the file, change the title to inline CSS. So I told you what the title means the other day in our previous class, right?
That's the page.
A title. So that if you visit the page after it finished loading, it's going to show you something at it. It's going to show you the name, like inline CSS. That's what it does. So now let's create a H1. Let's create a H1. Have we created a H1? So Elijah and Great, if you have changed the title to inline CSS, kindly create a H1. Kindly create a H1. So inside the H1, you write, this is inline CSS. Have we done that? Have we all done that? Okay. So if we've done that, now we said in our inline, we said during our slide, we said inline, you add the style inside the element that you want to change. You add the style inside the change. So let's go ahead and try and change it to see if it will work for us. So now we are going to try and change the color of this text. So the first thing you do is you add something called style. Immediately you type S letter, it's going to start showing you, it's going to start giving you options. You can see it there. You click on it. Right? You also style, right? You click on it, then you say, okay. You see color, right? CO, it will come up. Then you change it to any color of your choice. You change it to any color of your choice. Please kindly try it and see if it works. Did you change color? So go back to your head body now, the body part of the CSS, the opening tag of the body inside here. Can you see where my cursor is? Inside here. Did you see it? So you must put this style. If the style is not there, it will not work. You must put style. You must put style. So if you put style, it's going to display all the things you need to do with the style. Then you now say, okay, let's change background color. Right? You change it to any color of your choice. So those of us online, are we following? If we are lost, please kindly let me know. Elijah and Great. Oh, sorry, are you on the WhatsApp group? Okay. Please, if you go through the video, if you go through the last class video and today's one, if you are confused anywhere there's a confusion, kindly reach out. Just send a message to the group. I will reply you. Is that clear? So Elijah and Great, are we together? So as you can see, our background has changed. You can equally add another style here, right? But to make the code too, it will confuse. Sometimes it will end up confusing you. Maybe later you want to change it, you'll be confused to an extent, right? So that's how the inline CSS work. You can now add inline CSS to any code of your choice now, right? If you see a code now, you want to, let's say you are working on your own personal project, maybe in our next assignment now, I ask you to add inline. You know how to do it now, right? So let's go to the next one. So Elijah, what you do is inside the opening tag, if you can see my screen, so that I will put you through. What you do is inside the H1 tag, inside it, just type ST. It's going to show you all the this thing that start with ST. You look for style inside and click on it. You look for style inside and click on it. Please, if you've done that, let me know so that you pick up from there. Great. Have you done your own? Great. Have you done your own? If you've done it, let me know so that we'll continue. Sorry, let's just give them 5 minutes so to see that we all work together. So Elijah, now we are together, right? We've changed the color and it's changed, right? So now let's go to the next type of CSS. Next type of CSS is what we call the internal or embedded CSS. We call it internal or embedded CSS. You call it what? Internal or embedded CSS. So the internal CSS requires you to add a style tag in the head section. In the inline, you add it to the tag itself, to the element itself. But this one, you're not adding it to the element. You create a style section. You create a style tag in the head section. You know where the head section is, right? Like this is the head section here. You can either add it after the opening tag here or after the title. You can either add it here, right? You just click enter, right? Then add the style function. Look at it, it will show you style, right? You add the style function. You can add it either here or after the title function, but make sure it's inside the head section. It must be inside the head section, not outside it. It must be inside. Please, it must be inside. So if you come here now, you click enter, then include style. It's going to show you this thing. Then you click on it. It will automatically give you the opening tag and the closing tag. Are we together? So it requires you to add the style tag inside the head section. Let me see if these guys are together with us. They're together. Inside the head section of your HTML document. This method is more effective. Is more effective than the inline inline method. It is more for a single element now. You can add various attributes to it. You can change the color, you can centralize it, you can move it to the right, you can add different things. You understand? Is that clear? So let's try and see how the inline CSS works. So now let's go to our this thing and remove the inline we've done. Or better still, let's create another file. Let's create another file and name it index2.html. Index2.html. So those of us online, let's create another file and name it index2.html. Please kindly do that and let's, before we continue, kindly do that. Elijah, have you done that? Great. Create another file inside that folder and name it index2.html. Index2.html. If you've done that, let me know so to continue. So, you know the usual thing, shift one, right? So if you change the title now to what? Internal CSS. You change the title to what we call internal CSS. As you can see, the title has already changed, right? Has the title changed? Elijah, great. Are we together? Can we continue? So since the title has changed, we now come here and create a H1. H1. Right? Have you created the H1? Inside the H1, you put this is internal CSS. If you've done that, tell me so that we can continue. Have you done that? This is internal CSS. We've done that, right? So I said earlier, in the internal CSS, you're adding it to the head section, right? So you can either add it after the opening tag or just before the closing tag. It can go any of these places and it will work perfectly fine for you as far as it is inside the head section. Is that clear? As far as it is inside the head section, you can either add it to immediately after the opening tag, which is, see the head section here, just here like this, click enter, then you put your style. You put your style, immediately you put it, it's going to both open and close it for you. Is that clear? Or you can add it here. See, style. Anywhere you put it in these two places is going to work for you. So the choice is yours now. You know where anywhere you want to put it, the choice is yours. So Elijah and great. Okay, great. That's great. I like that. So we now go to styling now. You now look for the element you want to style. Let's say we want to style the body element now. The body element, you type body, right? Are you seeing what I'm doing? You type body, then you put curly brackets. You know this curly brackets, right? You can see it on your system. Yeah. So you put it, then you click enter. So any attribute you want to add to the body section now is going to go inside this curly bracket, and it will take effect here. Let's say you want to change the background color now. You understand? You can say background color. Look at it there. This is what I did. Did you see how I did it? Okay, let's go back. Have you created the body element?
Yes.
Have you created the body this thing
Yes.
for the body? Have you put your curly bracket? Put your cursor inside in the middle of the curly bracket and click enter. You've done that. So inside this place now, inside that space that is created for you, you type background. Immediately you're typing it, you see background color, it will appear. You see background color will appear. Inside it, is it showing? Are you sure you're typing it inside? Bring it, let me see. So, great, are you following?
Must it be
You're not, you're not using curly bracket. Yeah, it must be a curly bracket. You're not using curly bracket. That's right. Must be a curly bracket. Curly bracket. Shift. Shift. See it right?
yes.
Must be a curly bracket. So you can change it to any color of your choice. Those of us online, we are all following. So we've been able to change our background color now using the internal CSS. Now let's try and add and change our for our H1 and see if it will work. Let's try for our H1 and see if it will work. So outside the curly bracket, outside the curly bracket, you click enter. Outside it, then you could put H1, then you put under curly bracket again. Have you done that? Have you done that? Hope we are picking small from. Thank you very much. Great, Elijah. Alpha, are we together? If you are lost anywhere, please kindly indicate so that I will put you through. Thank you very much. So now H1 now. Let's change. Have you done that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's change the color of our H1 now. Let's change it. Color. Let's say I'll change mine to red. You can change it to any color of your choice. As you can see, it has changed to red. Right? Did your color change? Did it change? So let's see and let's try and see if we can centralize it and put the text in the middle of the. No, it's on the side now. Let's see if we can make it. So you say text align. Immediately say TE. Click text TE. You see text align, right? Enter. So you say center. You click center. Did it work? Should I go back?
Yes.
Okay. So under this one is not outside the curly bracket now. It's inside the curly bracket, just under the color attribute. After the red, after the what do you call it? The semicolon. You click enter. You've done that, right? Try text there. Try text TEX. You see text align. It will give you option, right? Text align. Click on it. Then to give you options again at the side. It's giving you. You are seeing the options, right? Click on center. Decentralize it. If you click on end now, it will take it. It will put it at the other side for you. You see, it took it to the other side, right? Right? Shall we follow me? Promise. Are we together? So that's how it works. So our online people, how far are we together? We are together, please kindly indicate so that to. So now we've known how to apply the inline CSS, right? We've known how to apply the internal CSS, right? So the third one now, and the last type of CSS application is what we call the external CSS. Is what we call the ex. So in this external CSS now, what they do is instead of putting it inside your HTML file, you create another. Instead of putting it inside that your index.html, you better be inside the inline or in the head section. You're not putting it inside there. You create another file and name it anything, but instead of putting .html at the end, you put .css. Instead of putting .html, like when we created the files we've been creating since, we've been putting the extension .html. But this time around, we're not going to be having a .html file. It's going to be a .css file, right? So, out all the necessary things you want to carry out. You understand? Then, if you want to change the H1, all the attribute you want to attribute to H1, you put it inside the H1, the same way you did it for the internal CSS. That's the same way it's going to be there. You put H1 with the opening and closing curly brackets, then you can change the background of the H1, you can change the color of the H1, you can change the text size, all those things. After you finish, you go to the next one. Maybe there's a paragraph text. You can justify it to center. You can align it to be in the center. You can change the text color. You can change the background also. You understand? So if you finish, then you now go back to your HTML file and apply it. So if we are going to be doing it together now, I'm going to teach you how to do the CSS and how to apply it inside your HTML file. So now let's go back to our. So online people explanation, or do I have to carry on again? So let's go back to our VS Code and create the third folder, the third file. Sorry, this is not creating a file. Create a file and name it index2, right? Okay, we've done 2. Index3.html. Enter.
You say it's not CSS.
No, we are going to create a HTML file. You create the HTML file first. Write the HTML, but you have to have the HTML that you are going to apply the CSS file inside. So inside after creating the HTML file now, then we'll now go back and create a CSS file. So because if you just create the CSS file now, where are you going to call it? it has to be inside the HTML file. So let's create the HTML file first and put our necessary tags there. You understand? So put our necessary tags, then we'll now go back to we'll now create the CSS and call it and call it. Exactly. Which one? You can download it. Connect your hotspot. Connect on your system and connect. On your system, which app? It's not the application we are using now.
It's not the AFC.
I doubt.
If it's before I will download it, I will not put it in my system now. So it's a layout and all this.
Okay. So have we created the HTML file? So let's change the title to what? MTN 5G. To external CSS, right? H1B to external CSS. Have we done that? Have we done that? Mr.
I'm doing that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Great. That's nice. Elijah, I've not been hearing from you. Is it a network issue? Or if you are lost, please kindly indicate so that I'll go back and pick you up so that we all work together to the promised land. We don't want to leave anybody behind.
I want to know if
VS Code.
VS Code.
So if you've done that, then you create a H1 element, H1. Then you put this. This is external CSS. This is external CSS. Have you done that? Then enter. Outside the H1, you create a paragraph. You create a paragraph. Look for any text that is long enough, maybe that is like 2-3 lines, copy it and paste it inside the paragraph. I just want to show you something. Look for something to copy to. Constant. Have you seen it? I'm too lazy to type. Have we done that? Have you created the paragraph?
Yes.
Elijah, I'm not hearing from you. Great. Are we together? Please, if you are together, kindly indicate so that we'll continue from there. And if you've created the paragraph, look for any picture of your choice. You're adding a picture.
So we just create a plain body.
Hmm?
A plain body.
Yes.
That make up.
Yes. Let me look for a picture too. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Sit down. Did you join us in the first online class? Wow.
You still have to move the pictures to this folder.
Yes, it has to be inside the folder.